So far away, Nisha, did you pick this one just to hear me try and pronounce this word?
Maybe.
I want to get a fucking good go. Don't complain. I'm trying my best. Leedsichthys problematicus, and I'm not even bothered if I mispronounce that one because that word's terrifying. Anyway, Leedsichthys problematicus, better known as the largest fish to ever swim in the Earth's oceans, was a prehistoric fish-shaped tank that could headbutt its way through the Hoover Dam. Although the fish is mostly of interest to paleontologists due to its massive size, today we're talking about the bizarre arguments that sprung up because of its name.
All right, so to start with, what is the deal with this fish's name?
Well, before we can get into that, we need to explain what Leedsichthys problematicus roughly translates to, and that depends on how you want to translate it. So it can either mean Leeds' problematic fish or the problematic fish of Leeds, which sounds like the headline you'd have on an expose of a really, really rough fish shop in Leeds, which is a British city for any Americans watching. But no, the fish isn't named after Leeds, the city. So our British viewers, it is named after a man who had the last name Leeds.
When I first read this article, I thought, oh, maybe it's about a fish from Leeds.
A fish from Leeds, a completely landlocked town. Why would you find like a 20-foot long armour-plated fish in Leeds? But no, it was named after a guy called Alfred Nicholson Leeds, and Leedsichthys is literally just Alfred Nicholson Leeds' last name with ichthys put at the end, which is the Greek word for fish. So it literally just translates to Leeds fish or fish of Leeds. Which is hilarious. I wish it was called that.
It just sounds like a fish down on his luck.
It's like, oh man. The thing is though, this fish would not be down on its luck. As I say, it's one of the largest fish, or if not the largest fish that we know of to swim in the Earth's oceans. It was basically invincible as far as anything that existed in the water with it was concerned. And it's said by experts that if this thing lived today, it could easily bite a great white shark in half.
Jesus.
Yeah, not that it probably would, but if it wanted to, it could, which is pretty scary.
Okay, so who was this guy, Alfred Nicholson Leeds?
Well, he was a gentleman farmer, an amateur fossil enthusiast who would spend his free time collecting and selling dinosaur skeletons, doing so many thousands of times over his lifetime.
All right, so did he have any actual training for this, or was an amateur?
Yeah, he was a complete amateur, entirely self-taught in regards to fossils and where to find them. He just really liked fossils, and it's said that he would spend many hours a day polishing fossils in his special, I shit you not, bone room. Which is a sentence I'm so happy I'm being paid to say. It reminds me a little bit of this short documentary I saw about the Antler Man, who's just a guy who collects antlers.
Yeah.
And they go into a room in his house where he stores them all. And it's like just thousands upon thousands of antlers, and it looks horrifying. It's like something out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And you're like, oh my God, how many fucking deer did this guy shoot?
I keep my antlers in a shed that I built at my house. It is 60 feet long and 30 feet wide.
Helpfully, the guy then explains in this mini documentary, oh, no. I never hurt the deer. Deer naturally just lose their antlers and regrow them every single year. Something I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know they regrew them every year, and I just walk around and find them.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know.
And I collect them. And I just think they're cool. And it's like, oh, yeah, that image of him just stood with like thousands and thousands of antlers. Like, oh my God, is he just like, he's like, no, I just collect them. I think they're neat. I'd never want to hurt a deer.
Stuff like that, if I walked into a room that was like that, it would freak me out. It's like if it was a room full of taxidermy as well. Like,
yeah.
No,
it does freak people out.
Yeah.
I will be like that moment in Ace Ventura when he walks into the room, it's all the taxidermied animals. And he's like, it's like, yes, this is a wonderful room of death. Can I please leave now? I didn't know that deers regrew their antlers every year, but I have seen a deer that has like tiny little antlers when they're just starting to grow, and I've touched them. Because I went to that place in Japan where they have all the deers.
Yeah.
And and they're so friendly, they just walk up and you just pet them.
Aww.
And one of the experiences in my life I'll remember forever is just petting a deer and touching its tiny little fuzzy antlers.
Aww.
Like, they're really fuzzy and it's really great. And the reason I remember that so well is because the deer there bow if you bow at them.
Oh yeah, I've seen that video you put on of you bowing.
And I love that. You'll see it on shitty clickbait websites. It's like, oh, look, the deer here are so polite, they bow. It's like, no, they're animals. They just know if they bow to tourists, they get given crackers.
Yeah. So I'm guessing he's the type of person who would collect fossils for fun then.
Yeah, he did it mostly just for the hell of it. And while he did make a little bit of money doing it, he was a gentleman farmer, so he didn't really need the money. He just liked the idea of finding, collecting, collating, polishing, and selling dinosaur skeletons and other fossils. And when he discovered this giant prehistoric fish that had never been seen before, he wasn't all too concerned with the act of classifying it, and he packed up all the fossilized remains that he collected of the fish and sent it off to an expert to do that instead, because he wasn't about that life. He just wanted to polish some skeletons in his bone room. In his bone room.
You said he sent it to an expert?
Yes, a guy called, I'll have to double check this, Arthur Smith Woodward, and unbeknownst to Leeds, who was just happy, like, oh cool, I found a new creature, I'll send it off. Surely everyone will be happy about this. And unbeknownst to him, his discovery had caused a massive, huge argument amongst paleontologists because Arthur Smith Woodward wanted to name the fish after Leeds, its discoverer, and so decided to call it Leedsichthys problematicus, which was, as I mentioned, Leeds' name with the Greek word for fish added to it, and problematicus, which just means problematic in Greek. As a nod to the fact it was apparently a huge pain in the ass for Leeds to find all the individual pieces of the specimen that he collected. Or in other words, this fish could be called a big pain in the ass fish for Mr. Leeds.
Yeah.
Some animal naming conventions are hilarious. I love that the word bear isn't real. Have you ever heard this?
It isn't real?
Yeah, Joe, when I say the word bear, the creature a bear, natives were so scared of bears, they refused to speak the actual name of them and instead called them bears.
Oh, okay.
But then people forgot what that word was, so they just call them bears. I don't know if that's true, that's just a story I've heard, and it's like, that's really cool. And then there's I think the name for the grizzly bear, that its Latin name is Ursa something or other, but it translates to horrible bear, because they translated it wrong twice or something.
Jesus.
And then you've got the scientific name for a gorilla, which is gorilla. And then the scientific name for a lowland gorilla is gorilla. And then the scientific name for a western lowland gorilla is gorilla. Again, that's just something that always crack me up. Please fact check that, whoever edits this one. Gorilla.
What was the problem that people had with that name?
As I said, completely unbeknownst to Leeds, he was just happy polishing stuff in his bone room. Woodward had been in correspondence with other paleontologists who were incensed at what he'd done in the naming of Leedsichthys problematicus, because he had added a Greek word to an English one. Which they said was tantamount to barbarism. But the problem is that it is generally the rule that whoever discovers a creature or officially classifies it gets to name it. So while they were annoyed about it, they couldn't really do it because Woodward, he is the one who discovered it was a new species, and he decided to name it after the guy who originally found it. There's nothing we can do except for just keep complaining at him. So what he did is he said, okay, let's change the name to Leedsia problematicus, which he felt sounded more Greek and thus more proper, but that name never caught on and nobody really heard that he did that. So as a result, the letters just kept coming. It's just, I feel so bad for that guy. And I believe to end on Nisha, you have in front of you now a list of animals and their proper names.
Yeah, the proper names.
So are these am I thinking this like a snake, and it's instead of calling it a snake, call it a danger noodle?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, before we get into the list that you have in front of you, I'm just going to point out my favourite one, which is greyhounds and whippets should not be called greyhounds and whippets. They should be called speedy needles.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's so funny. Anyway, Nisha, the list.
Yeah, I'm just looking through it and I've just seen one that I can't stop smiling at. It's for a stingray.
A stingray. Oh.
So it's called a majestic sea flap.
Yeah. The other one I thought water pancake. Anyway, any more?
Guinea pig is a furry potato.
I can see that, yeah. Furry potato. Oh man, they're so squeaky.
A skunk is a fart squirrel.
That's strong. Fart squirrel.
That's
That's that's a good one.
An otter is a sea cat snake.
Sea cat snake. See, that's two. That's like three things combined, man. You can't do that. It's got to be two put together.
A seagull.
It's not as strong as fart squirrel. Ooh, what's a seagull?
A beach chicken.
Oh, God. Seagulls are just fucking rats with wings, man. They're fucking awful. Like, pigeons keep getting into my fucking house.
Really?
I'm really upset by it. Yeah. I've got a balcony and pigeons keep getting stuck on it. So I'll be like sat doing work and I'll hear, cool. I'm like, what the fuck's that? And it's a pigeon stuck on my balcony again. I feel sorry to any neighbours or any people walk past my building because they'll just see a guy trying to hit a seagull with his laptop. Like, get away.
Fucking hell.
Like, one day I'm going to drop that bastard. It's going to be really unpleasant. But yes, any more?
A camel is a hot moose.
Hot moose. I can see it. Hot moose.
Oh, a hedgehog is spiky floof.
A spiky floof. Oh, man. It's like, it's so dangerous. The other one as well, I've seen for a snake, is like a nope rope.
Yeah, nope rope.
Fucking danger noodle though. Fucking
danger noodle's the best one.
We got what? We need a good one to end on, Nisha. So what you got? What's the pièce de résistance?
There's a white tiger called a danger zebra.
That's so strong. That reminded me of it. Have you ever seen that like parody Facebook page of Pizza Hut Zimbabwe?
No, what's that?
And they say, oh yeah, we've got our new Shrek-themed play area up for kids.
Right.
There's this really shitty-looking knockoff Shrek thing, and they call it like cat in shoes and unpleasant mule. Just unpleasant mule fucking sent me